I'm Maureen Muldoon. I'm the founder and spiritual mother of this community. And what does that mean? When we say spiritual mother, when we speak about the mother, for me, it just means that I said yes to a concept, to a calling, to a community where we attempt to sit knee to knee and eye to eye and heart to heart, and where you can take a class and give a class, and where our classes are open to everyone based on a love offering, and where we attempt to speak easily about tough and tender topics. And these were things that were super important to me, that I needed for my own spiritual community, that I wanted for my own spiritual community, that I wasn't necessarily finding out there on the menu of spiritual offerings. So when I said yes to delivering this idea of SpeakEasy, it was because I wanted it, where we just sit in a circle and we speak easily about God, where it wasn't a hierarchy, where it wasn't complicated, where everyone had something to offer, where it wasn't you get what you get and you don't get upset, but rather like, what do you have and what do you know and what can we share? More like the loaves and the fishes, than teach a man to fish and he can fish forever. But, I just felt in many circles like I was just being fed fish. And I wanted to learn how to fish, and I wanted to teach other people how to fish so that we could empower each other instead of enable each other. So that was a dream, a desire that I had in my soul, and you must have had it too, or you probably wouldn't be in this conversation. And so I took this concept and I just mothered it, and not alone, of course. My husband said yes to it, and my kids chipped in the beginning, and many hands and hearts have gone into helping to host and to nurture this concept of community. This will be our 9th year of holding and mothering this concept. And I feel like the 9th year leading into our 10th year is going to give us opportunities far beyond what we have ever even imagined that we could be, which is super exciting. And now with the help of Beth Gordon, who's helping to set up these SpeakEasy salons in Los Angeles, and Mia Sarah in Ireland. And I mean, this is just the starting. And we're launching, as I said earlier, a SpeakEasy podcast so that you can now have access to these talks throughout your week. And sure, you can have access to them through YouTube, but podcasts are just going to be even easier. And we're inviting and nurturing and supporting new voices all the time. Like today, Nina, we have a woman, Barbara Young, who's going to be coming to us, who is the author of The Woman Who Healed Her Brain. There's just so many exciting people in our community who are sharing their wisdom, and more of that to come. So as we make our way to the holiday season, as we make our way to Christmas, to Kwanzaa, to Hanukkah, I want to ask you a few questions. I want to know, what are you mothering? And what are you nurturing? And what concepts are you saying yes to? And what concepts are you fully accepting? And what concepts are you maybe ignored? And what concepts are you maybe you thought you aborted them, but they're really just on the back burner? These are important questions, and I invite you to contemplate them as we move into the season and we walk with the Blessed Mother as she delivers Christ consciousness. Because as Jesus said to us, this and greater things shall you do. When this community first started, there was about 20 to 30 people sitting around in a circle in an old historic church. And the church was so beautiful. If you ever got a chance to see it, I wish I had a picture here, but actually I have a picture on the wall of a newspaper that did an article on us, and but I don't have a picture of the church. But if you saw it, the church was so beautiful, and it had everything. It had wheelchair accessibility. It had a brand new kitchen for us. It had beautiful stained glass windows with Jesus, and it was located in like the perfect place for so many of us to get to, and the rent was so cheap that it was like a no-brainer. It was so easy to say yes to it. And so many beautiful hours were spent in that church, in that little jewel box of a church. And so many people came to support the concept. Jim and Pam Peterson came and they helped us to become nonprofit, and Dave and Carol Ham came and they helped us to implement more of a technical delivery of our messages. And Ray came and they assisted us with our logo and with our branding. And then Jim and Kathy McMahon came and they helped us to set up banking and systems. And Keita came and Al came and Robert came and Letty came and Mari came and Susan Geiger came. And of course, Kathy Richardson came. So many names, too many to mention, all of them responsible, each of them responsible for a foundational block in the consciousness of this community, and each one the spiritual brick in our virtual presence that we have now. And here's the thing, as Beth was saying, like the yes is so important, because when I said yes to this concept, no idea. And I did not look for a church, and I did not look for a marketer, and I did not look for a brander, and I did not look for a banker or somebody to help. I didn't look for any of it. I had no idea what I was doing, but they showed up to the door. It just came to me because I said yes. It came to me because I was looking for it and I wanted it, but I didn't actually search for it. A person literally placed in my hand a brochure and they said to me, go to this church and check out to see if you can rent it. That's how I found the church. I didn't look for spaces. It came to me. And this, I believe, with every single breath of my being, I believe that this is the way of laborless deliveries that we are afforded. And you might say, well, I don't know, I don't know if that's possible for me, that my good is at hand. You might believe that you're struggling. And this is what I'd say to you. If you feel like you're struggling around your manifestations, it's either one of two things. Either you have an agreement that there needs to be some struggle. Don't shame yourself for that. Just look at that. That you still believe that things might need to be hard, or it's not yours to do. And if you take that to the Holy Spirit, it will really clarify the riddle of why there's struggle, because struggle is not an aspect of God. So either there's a belief that I need to struggle, or this is just simply not mine to do. And so I can either let it go or I can let it flow. So if it is yours to do, you will know, because it will wake you up in the middle of the night. It will stare at you from across the breakfast table as you're eating your cereal. It will follow you into every single conversation, and it will tuck itself back into bed with you at night. You will not be able to outrun this concept that is yours. And that's another good thing to know. Sometimes you'll put things off because you'll say, I'm not ready. I don't know every single detail. Don't do that. You will rob God of throwing you a surprise party. You can't know everything. You shouldn't know anything. You should be in the mystery, because it allows you to understand true faith. So for many years, when we started out, I asked the members in the beginning of our community building, I asked the members of the community, what do you want from your spiritual community? And I remember in the very beginning, my son Liam got up into the circle, and he was like 11 or 12, and he said, I want a place where everyone can say whatever they need to say and be whoever they need to be. And we have strived over the years to fulfill that desire. So if you're new here, wherever you've been and whatever you've done and whoever you love, you are so welcome here. We don't just welcome you, we celebrate you. We are entering our 9th year and beginning a new year. I want to ask you 2 questions. The 2 questions are, what do you want from your spiritual community? Because here's the thing. You can have anything you want. And if you want it, maybe there's other people in the community who want it as well. And the other question is, what do you want to be in community? Because community is not just about a shared vision, but a shared implementation of that vision. So what do you want to do? I had this wonderful call the other day from Gary. Gary had this incident this past year where he fell down in his basement. His basement was flooded. He got a cut. He was afraid of septic. And we went over to his house and we sent a whole cleaning committee, and these women cleaned his house. He felt like he was visited by angels. He was like, wow, I felt so cared for by my community. I didn't know that that was a possibility. He called me yesterday and he said, I want to know about volunteer positions at the community because I want to give back. And I said, why don't you bring some soup over to Reverend Celeste? She just got out of the hospital. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, community is not about a Sunday morning conversation. It's about connections. It's about celebrations. It's about challenging each other. These are all aspects of community that you could make yourself heir to and you could engage in, no matter if you live close or far, because we've found throughout this year that that's not a prerequisite. So there's a form that we're going to be putting in the chat that I'm going to ask you to fill out, and I hope that you do. And it holds two questions. You know, what do you want from your spiritual community, and who do you want to be in your spiritual community? And it would be a full-on generous gift to me if you go ahead and take that to prayer and go ahead and fill it out so that we can challenge ourselves to live into our full potential.